What's up, guys? Pypo here, bringing you a video today asking the question of whether garrisons are antisocial. Now, the reason why I ask this question is because I've talked about it in a few videos I've already put up, kind of just mentioning offhand that I don't like garrisons and I don't like kind of what they've done to the game or what they've done to certain situations. And a lot of people, I think, agree with me, but I've also seen other people say that they like them or they like being by themselves. And so I wanted to kind of just make a video just about garrisons and just about what Warlord's done with these garrisons. And kind of go over the pros and cons, because there's a few pros, obviously, but there's also, I think, a lot more cons than pros. So let's just get down to let's see the pros first. Let's not be like one-sided about this. The pros of garrisons are they give players housing, which is a very good thing, especially for our peers and stuff like that. You can invite people in if you want them to come into your garrison. They can hang out in your garrison. Fuck, when I stream, I often just sit in my garrison and have the people in my party come to my garrison and duel. And we just duel in the garrison until a BG pops, and it usually takes about 7 minutes or something like that. So, you know, it's not antisocial in the fact that you can't have anyone in it or anything like that. It's more of like it's just a thing that you have to go about doing to get people in your garrison. People have to actively enter your garrison and be in your party to see you. But in saying that, there's still the option of getting in your garrison. Now, there's professions in your garrison. You can make a lot of gold from your garrison. You can do a lot of the stuff that you need to do in your garrison that used to involve basically having to run around like a fucking idiot for the entire time. But this also made the game extremely easy in a couple of facts, and it's also made it a lot more boring, I guess. It's turned into what someone actually called in one of my comments a Facebook game. So I don't know if this is actually a good or bad thing, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's a pro or con, because it could be seen as either way. Like maybe someone who used to farm a lot can be like, oh, this is a pro because I don't have to get farm a lot anymore. But at the same time, the same person could be like, hey, everyone's using this method to get gold in their garrison now, so I'm not making as much gold and everyone can do it. It's not as much like profit going on because even though I'm the one that wants to put in work, I'm not making as much gold from it. It's just an unfortunate thing to where people who actually had extra time and want to put in extra time, it's kind of void now because everyone can kind of farm and do that sort of thing. Other than that, the pros might be the perks you get for the buildings that you can choose to put into your garrison. A very good idea. A very good idea. I like the idea of when you're leveling, you can choose certain buildings. I like the idea of you putting certain buildings in your garrison to get benefits outside of your garrison. I like that. I like that idea. I like the mechanics of that. Some of them are a bit one-sided or a bit pointless, a bit just for fun, but honestly, I like that. I like having things that are just for fun. I can choose to do that. So naturally, I choose a lot of stuff that's in there that's just for fun. But that's probably going to be the only pros about it. The cons about garrisons are going to start off with the fact that you can just never leave the garrison. Now, what I mean by that is you can literally play the entire game that you want to play once you're max level by sitting in your garrison. Now, this is a bit rough. Some people might argue differently that, you know, I have to go here, I have to do this. I'm saying you don't have to do anything without, you know, the ability to stay in your garrison and just wait for cues. And this presents a sort of situation where most players are kind of just sitting by themselves in an instant zone where they don't even see another player and they just queue for something. And it's a rough way to play a game that's supposed to be extremely social and, you know, group building. You know, that's one of the main things I liked about WoW was the group building aspect of it. So that's the first con, is the antisocial side of it. I think it's going to be hard for someone to argue that it's not antisocial. The second thing that is definitely a downside is the fact that there are things that you have to do to get benefits for your character that are extremely unfun and unwanted. And what I mean by that is the Facebook games they make you do in the main building. When you go in and I have to choose a person, put them in a slot, send them on a mission. It's like, obviously you can not do this. You can be like, I don't want to do this at all. I don't want to do any of these missions. I'm not going to do it. But it legitimately puts you at a disadvantage, especially on a leveling character. I can go and quest for 3 hours, then go back to my garrison, put on a bunch of these garrison missions, and log on the next day to a bunch of random experience from just pressing a few buttons. Of course, you're going to want to do it. It's just the act of actually doing that Facebook game bullshit is not something I would want to play on WoW. And honestly, I stopped doing it. It's not... I can't even bring myself to make myself do those garrison missions because they're just boring and annoying to me, and I don't want anything to do with it. So that's the con number 2, is the completely unnecessary kind of just bullshit they like. I want to say the word make you, but they don't make you do it. It's just it's necessary if you want to get the best out of your experience and the fastest leveling, which most people want to do. The other cons, of course, are the gold you need to sink in your garrison. Now, again, this is a completely based on the person specific thing. You don't have to do this, and while you do usually make a lot of gold. So of course you might want to make your garrison look pretty and awesome and spend as much gold and upgrade it to level 3 and get all your buildings level 3. But yet again, it goes back to the antisocial part of it, where it's like people are just sitting here upgrading this space that is just their own and no one else can see unless they invite them to it. And it's almost like you're investing so much in it that it warrants staying there, but again, that just results in people not spending time with each other in game, making it even more antisocial. Fuck, the first time I upgraded a couple buildings, I was on my priest, and my priest is the only person I've upgraded my garrison on, and I started to care only about that. I was like, man, I really like upgrading my buildings. It got to the point where I just spent time getting stuff to upgrade buildings. I upgraded the buildings, got them to level 3, and I realized after a week I hadn't spent any time with anyone else the entire week. It was just me fucking around making a building slightly bigger and opening up like a different quest chain. Mainly the ones that give you toys and stuff like that, because I'm obsessed with toys for some reason. And then like I would get all these buildings and they're all upgraded now, and now I'm just sitting in the middle of my fucking garrison with nothing else to even do at that point, looking at my pretty buildings, being like, I did that, yay, but I'm not with anyone, no one's seeing this, no one gives a shit. There's no reason for this to even be an issue, you know what I mean? So obviously it's completely player-based and it's your decision, so it's not a huge deal, but I still think that it's retarded that you can and should spend this much time doing stuff like that to get certain items or certain quest lines or certain advantages in the game. It's just annoying. I like better, honestly, like out in the world, kind of, they put you a building down, like in Negran, you can put a building down to get on a fucking mount and run around mounted the entire time. That's a good idea. I like that. Everyone can do it. Everyone can choose the building, or they can choose like the siege building, and you're still gonna see people, and it's still gonna be an active place, and they can make it in such a way that even if you chose 2 different buildings, you can still see each other in that location. I think that's honestly a better way of doing it than making a small garrison that makes a player to sit there. Not something I think is a step forward for Blizzard. Obviously, player housing is something they've been looking into for a while, and I honestly think, cool, player housing, awesome, it's a good idea, but don't make it so player housing has everything a player could ever fucking need, because that's legitimately what a garrison is capable of doing, and it results in people never leaving their garrison. Like, when I think of player housing, I think of literally like a house, like that's it. Maybe a place where you can have like a bank and then also a transmogrifier, because that makes sense for a person to be able to change their gear in their own house and transmog their shit. Other than that, let them put down like aesthetic things and make their place look better and like look cool, and have things that they can buy to make their own houses look awesome, but don't have all these things where you can just literally stay there and play the entire game from your fucking bedroom in your fake game house. Like, that to me is just fucking retarded. But that's my just fucking opinion, guys. That's my honest opinion. I don't know if you feel the same way. I feel pretty strongly about it because it annoys me, and I miss the old WoW where you used to actually have to fucking communicate with people and get shit done. And now it's like I log on, click a button, and then I log off like 30 seconds later because I'm like, this is the most boring thing in the world, due to like the lack of any kind of need of communication. I get on right now and raid without talking to one person. It's like, it's ridiculous. But let me know what you guys think, and I hope you guys don't get too mad at me for being extremely. I'm passionate. I'm passionate about it. So it's not like it's not a huge fucking deal. I'm not hating on the game. I'm just passionate about it, and I wish it took a different step in a different direction. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, guys. I will see you in the next video. See you later.